Welcome to
Boring
but Effective.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Boring but Effective. We have an absolute celebrity with us today. He went through Melbourne University getting a first class honours degree in engineering. In 2000 he was a world champion sailing in the 470 class with his good mate Mark Turnbull. They also won the gold medal in the 2000 Sydney Olympics in the 470 class. He was inducted into the Sailing Hall of Fame in 2022, and that included being awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia. He joined Nanuk Asset Management. They're the guys with the polar bear logo. Virtually at the foundation in 2009 as the firm's chief investment officer, and he's still in that role today. Welcome, Tom King.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Good to see you. Now, tell us, what's the aim of the Nanuk New World Fund?
I mean, very simply, the aim of the fund is to deliver good investment returns for clients. That's what we focus on doing as an investment firm, and the fund has an objective to outperform traditional global benchmarks like the MSCI World or All Country Index. And if we do a good job, that's what it should do.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's been doing that as well, and it's got a bit more of a lens on protecting the planet than a lot of others.
Yeah, so the way we try and achieve that objective is by investing in a set of industries that we think are likely to do well over time. And that's based around a broader belief that inevitably the global economy changes to address sustainability, environmental sustainability, and resource constraint issues that are becoming increasingly evident and problematic around the world. And we've seen that happening over the last 15 or 20 years, and we're very confident that those kind of trends towards electrification and automation and digitalisation are going to continue over the next 20, and investing in those parts of the market not only is a intuitively logical thing to do from an investment perspective, it also means that we're investing in a lot of sustainable technologies that are helping to make the world a more sustainable and better place in the future. And in doing that, we also aren't investing in a lot of the areas that people often find sort of ethically or values, challenges their values. So we don't invest in things to do with oil and gas exploration, things related to significant environmental damage. We don't invest in many of the industries like tobacco and alcohol that a lot of investors would like to avoid. But that's really a function of having focused on another set of industries to start with.
Yeah, so I guess in recent times, the energy crisis due to the Russians and the Ukrainians not necessarily getting along well had a bit of an impact on the fund, but you certainly picked up some tailwinds with the AI, the big seven over there investing heavily in the infrastructure as that takes off.
Yeah, there's a bunch of interesting trends going on around the world. The narrative of what's happening in the economy and markets is very dominated by AI capital investment, particularly in the US. And in the fund, we do have exposure to a range of pretty interesting businesses that are benefiting from that happening. But there are still a lot of other really good things happening in the world that we've got exposure to. And part of that's to do with the energy transition towards more sustainable, less environmentally damaging energy solutions, and that's being accelerated by electricity demand from AI. And then outside of that, you're seeing technologies in areas like automation and in healthcare technology continuing to improve, and businesses growing in those areas as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Robotics, and you'll be able to have a heart transplant with a robot soon.
If you can't already, exactly.
Yeah, one of the other things I was looking at with the Nanuk Fund is you have this sustainable platform calculator. Talk us through that.
So we do. We've worked with a group based in Perth called Sustainable Platform, who have a approach to analysing public companies to understand all of the things that they're involved in and the degree to which they're involved in those areas, which aren't necessarily all disclosed clearly in public documents. And by using their database and analysis, we're able to look at our portfolio and estimate the levels of involvement across a very wide range of different sustainability related activities. And the impact calculator uses that analytics, it's not ours, it's Sustainable Platforms analytics, to make an estimate of how much of any sort of given dollar invested in our fund is connected to the revenues of the companies that we're invested in and what they're actually doing. And when you use the calculator, you can put in a dollar value of investment, and it will, using that approach, give you an estimate of how much sort of dollar revenue of the underlying companies is attached to different types of activities in different areas of social and environmental benefit. So it's a way of sort of illustrating that some of investors' money is sort of indirectly in companies that are doing these things that people would like to see more of in the world.
Yeah, they're linked in with the UN ESG standards, and it's interesting. You guys will be able to see it up there on the screen now. That I've just put in 500,000 as a potential investment amount, or it might be a practice amount, or whatever it is. And through this calculator, that's suggesting that this fund generates $8,200 worth of revenue as part of education, which funds 101 days of public school education in Australia. So it's pretty cool when you go through it.
Just to be clear, that's not to say that the fund is directly funding 100 days of school education in Australia. What the calculator is saying is that there's $8,000 of revenue attached to that investment each year within the companies that the fund is invested in. And if you wanted to sort of quantify what $8,000 of revenue in education relates to, that's how that kind of connection is drawn.
Yeah, absolutely. It does that with what's one of the big ones? The renewable energy. So there's 28,600 attributed revenue to renewable energy, which is the equivalent of 362 megawatts of solar energy. So that's not necessarily what it does, but that's what it can do, and that's how you guys get a really good handle on exactly what the funds that you're investing in are doing, and investors can come in, and it's a really good tool for me to demonstrate and say, hey, what are you actually interested in? What good are you doing? And the overall ratings of your greenwashing risk are incredibly low, and the reputation risk is quite low as well compared to others. So it's a great fund.
Well, thank you. I hope it's helping people to achieve their financial aims and in a way that makes them feel good about investing.
It certainly helps the environment and the globe in general without harming the returns, which is exactly what you're trying to do. And what's the future look like for Nanuk? What are your plans going forward?
I mean, our main game is to try and sort of continue to do a good job of investing our clients' money in the strategy that we have. That is what we do and our primary focus. We sort of always trying to understand how the world is evolving and what's coming next, and where there are going to be opportunities for making good investments on behalf of our clients. And it's a really interesting point in time at the moment, particularly because of what's happening with AI and digital technology. So in the last couple of decades, there's been an enormous amount of progress in the global economy in terms of decarbonisation and the sort of transition from the transition of a number of really important technologies like solar energy and electric vehicles from very small scale industries to being now very large industries that are starting to touch everyone's lives. And
well, it's interesting on that. It's kind of been human and company driven. Governments have largely not really helped with their legislation when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Depends where you look in the world. I think in a lot of cases, the government's played a very critical role 15 and 20 years ago in order to get these industries going. But once the economics become attractive and the products become good enough, they tend to proliferate of their own accord. And that's what's happened with solar, and it's starting to happen with electric vehicles, and it'll happen with battery energy storage and so on. And the next sort of big phase of that is, what does AI and the proliferation of that technology mean? So that's very exciting in terms of being able to make the world a more efficient place and to be able to accelerate the development of a whole lot of other technologies that will make our lives better and more sustainable in the future. So that's sort of our outlook on where the world is heading. From an investment perspective, it's also an interesting time. It's always an interesting time in investment markets, but particularly at the moment, you've seen this period where what's happening in markets has been very dominated by one theme, and there are still, I think, great opportunities related to AI, but it's left a whole lot of other areas that we focus on very much overlooked, and in some cases we think pretty undervalued now. And so we have an interesting opportunity set across areas of more traditional environmental and sustainable investment that look really interesting to us at this point in time.
Perfect. That sounds like there's plenty going on, and there will continue to be, and continue providing those great returns. So now we'll move on to the fun bit, Tom.
Yeah.
Now, what's your favourite meal?
I thought long and hard about this because I did get a heads up, and I think my favourite meals are things that I've caught myself, and just eaten very simply and fresh after I've caught them myself. So fishing and catching prawns or squid and cooking them up on the barbecue, or fly fishing and catching a trout or a salmon and slicing it up with a bit of wasabi on the at home afterwards.
Fantastic.
That's been the best meals I've had.
Amazing. That sounds terrific, and kudos for being able to catch them. Now, if you could name one person, living or deceased, from anywhere in the world that you'd love to take, maybe you want to take them fly fishing and catch a salmon with them and then have dinner, who would that be?
Can I give more than one answer here?
Yeah.
So, look, I'd love to catch up with some of the technology leaders in the US in this AI space. I think it'd be absolutely fascinating to spend some time with Sam Altman or with Elon Musk or someone of that ilk, to try and get a handle on what they see in the future, because people at the cutting edge of these things are thinking 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 years ahead of the rest of us, and to have a picture of what they're thinking would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So Sam and Elon.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they'd get on?
I reckon we could have, just for a dinner. That'd be fine.
He'd probably go fly fishing and then work out some phenomenal way to make all that easier for you.
Yeah.
But hey, thanks, Tom.
Pleasure.
Great to have you in the office.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for watching on Boring But Effective. Cheers.
Boring but effective.